We're back with more developer commentary. It is I, Dr. Brian Lorgun 111, here with renderXR, the creator of Nova Arcana. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
All right.
Good. Thank you for introducing me.
You're welcome. You look so majestic with your trident, almost like a
Well,
certain enemy I saw throughout this map.
mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
not
not
really
like it's my.
throughout.
It's not like it's my favorite weapon. So.
Just toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
Last time with Intersection 1, I guess we covered the Silver Ruins, and we did Candlelit Castle, but we didn't do Brightwater or Basalt Passage. So we should probably start with
Yes.
one of those.
Let's start with Blast passage.
All right. That's right.
Basalt
Once upon a
Blast.
time, uh, Bastalt?
Yeah, Basalt, which it was meant as the when you have a ship
Yeah,
like
ballast. Yeah.
yeah, you have ballast in ships,
hmm
and it's a
Was it because
nice
of all the
translation.
gravel or whatever? Or
Yeah, exactly. I
okay,
was thinking like how could I apply a gravity sounding name without just trying to rip off other map makers' names?
I see. So
Like
yeah, it
I
was
was
a
thinking
nice
of
idea.
I was thinking of gravitationally challenged cavern or something, but then I was like, it's like copying from another map.
This was definitely the most trappy portion, and like even at the beginning, like it already is setting the expectation kind of wrongly or whatever with all the gravel in the ceiling and getting people on edge, ready for a gravel's going to fall on you trap, but then that doesn't really happen for a while yet. Um, yeah, but this was an area that potentially, if you'd asked me, 6 months ago or whatever, how I felt about a trap heavy area of the map, I don't know that I would enjoy, but I actually enjoyed this one.
Hmm. Yeah, this one I actually don't know how the ideas came to be really that much, but this one always reminds me of Kaizo Caverns because it's so enclosed, it's all gray, and there's a lot of traps just like that map.
Right, except this one has more vines.
Yeah, this one has way more vines. Yeah, you got a little bit of a creeper cubby along the way,
hmm Yeah,
and
I feel like it took me a little bit to get reminded of the fact, but basically, anytime you come around a corner in a render map, it's always good to like turn around and look behind you in the corner because that's one of your favorite places to hide a creeper spawner.
yeah, I mean you even said it in Myriad, and I did it a lot in Myriad as well,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
super
really like it
effective.
too.
So,
Brian fainted.
all right, a little bit of
Fun,
gear here.
mm-hmm. Fun story. These mushrooms, the warped fungi and the
Right, yeah,
crimson fungi. When I made this, these were not. You could not place these on mycelium, and when you would update them, they would like pop off.
I see.
And I met one of the developers at Minecon
Uh-huh.
when I did my panel for Diversity Free,
hmm
and so I told him, "Hey, you should make it so all these mushrooms can go on mycelium
Yeah, it just makes
and
sense.
dirt
Yeah.
and on grass." And I'm so glad he actually listened to me and did it as well.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, the blue ones or whatever, like the color kind of like fits in perfectly with the mycelium too.
Yeah, it really does.
But yeah,
Might be
I
cool.
guess
The
this was my
mushroom
first
island.
time encountering them. This was one of the first places that well, yeah, this was one of the first places I could think of in the map where it was like, oh, I know that there's new stuff in the Nether and this must be it, and like actually like getting the item in my inventory and looking at its item name or whatever and saying, ah, this is like new to me Minecraft stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like trying to coming back to a game and everything is really different, especially when a map maker throws it at you. And then how would I also kind of tie into that? Because I knew some older people like who don't play really vanilla Minecraft anymore.
Right.
Like we're gonna play this like as well as War.
hmm
So how do I bring the new mechanics to those players without just being straight up unfair to them?
I see.
Like, oh, how did you not know that this block was gonna like kill you in some way or another?
It's kind of you to do that at the beginning of this map. I kind of had that attitude of I haven't played Minecraft in a while, but let's just assume that I know all the things that I need to know and blah blah blah. And then toward the end of the map, I was like, that's a bad attitude. Like this game is set in Minecraft. Like it's perfectly reasonable for the map maker to assume that I know things about Minecraft. And so, yeah, I started asking my chat like when I didn't know something about stuff that was happening in the Nether or whatever, like to inquire about the game mechanics that might be important.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and I guess for streamers, yeah, and YouTubers, that is at least a plus of doing.
but yeah,
But for yeah newer people who don't have those resources, that might be different.
right.
But
And I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say, like, one example of it, like, I know, again, you don't like to use a lot of text in the map or whatever, but when we get to, like, the nether section, the Dutch section, you left the chest full of gold helmets at the beginning, and so if people were even just vaguely aware, like, I knew there was something with the piglin, and they, like, attack people who don't wear gold or something, but I didn't remember it until I saw that chest, maybe. And so the tiny amount of information I had, like, you gave just the hint at the right time to make it happen. You,
Yeah, I try also to hint even like new mechanics and maybe old mechanics that people didn't really know about.
I see. This trap killed me. Um, and yeah, I think I was one of the few people that it actually killed. So
Yeah, was this the trap that you didn't hear? Oh no, that's in a
no,
few areas
that
later.
was later. Yeah, that was in Verde Passage.
Uh, this one is just like a really elaborate like fake out trap that people just get confused by.
But yeah, it was really clever because you have a observer pointing at redstone, right?
Yeah, so you think, oh, gravel, pressure plates, come on, man. What are you playing here? You just dig it all out, right?
Well,
And then
that's
there's
what other
nothing
people
underneath
do. Yeah.
except for the sides.
Hmm. And then I was like,
And
oh, free
so,
redstone.
yeah. And so like, oh, redstone, and I can mine it out. And even if you like don't see it that way, there's at least this whole strip here, kind of
Right.
inviting you, like, hey, go dig behind the whole gravel wall, and then oh, there's the redstone.
Hmm.
And then when you mine the redstone, there's an observer pointing up.
Hmm.
So if you break it, it just activates a bunch of TNT.
Yep. So that's what
And
I
that
did.
also is it's also made to explode that way
I see. Yeah, I
because this
figured
one will explode first, and then
I think I tried to like back up over here, and I don't remember. I was probably using a shield or something, but I don't remember if I got a shield off or something. But yeah, that's a lot of TNT.
hmm I like TNT,
Shall I set it
especially
off?
yeah
Recreate
fireworks.
the incident?
Let's do it.
Oh, I should be safe back here. Kablam!
Nope. Got some stars for the spiders,
Nice.
and
But
then there
yeah.
was a little dispenser with tripwire, and there were just like 3 creeper eggs, I believe. You
Oh,
quite
there actually
often,
was something in the dispensers. So I didn't see a
yeah,
dispense on anybody's stream, and so I presume that just random monsters walked through here sometime in the 3 hours that they were, fighting through Candlelit Castle or something.
yeah, exactly. That's what happens.
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen creepers at one person's, but
Okay.
I it's like really rare to actually happen, I think.
Right. Unless you were kind of like explicitly trying to do something to prevent that from happening, like that often happens with a single tripwire dispenser egg kind of thing.
Yeah, in I think in Goliath, I actually just put a command block in the middle, just testing for a player in a radius of 20,
Uh-huh.
just to actually solve that issue right before you go into the Nether
I
on the
see.
map.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, right before you go into the Nether. Yeah, I had an incident there too, but we'll eventually get there.
And then basically, as you fumble around with the fake traps,
You're
I have
spawning all these
two,
zombies.
yeah, I have 2 zombie spawners on left and right of this
Right.
little wall.
And yeah,
This little wall.
this little kind of like a step on the side and the wall on this side. It's so effective because at that point, like you have the zombies coming towards you or whatever, and you're like, okay, well, there's a wall here or whatever, and then they start coming towards you, and then you start getting overwhelmed, and then once you get one, they all start pouring out.
Yeah, it's a just a small little like yeah hurdle that's traversable from one side
And in the
unless you play
meantime, you've
fast.
got these vines going into the ceiling, where in previous maps, like there might have been creeper spawners up here, and the creepers are beginning could be coming down the vines, and so you're paranoid about those types of things, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ceiling vines creeping up on you. And this small type of room design kind of occurs later in the area again.
Yeah, there'll be a question that I have once we get there.
Oh yeah.
And then once
And
again, the classic.
mm-hmm. No sign. What's this? I'm slacking.
I don't know. You're finally ready to kill us. It's the trap area.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and some money in the
Money in the
ceiling next to the
ceiling.
gravel.
Yeah. More gravel in the
More
ceiling.
more potential triggers.
Yep.
So this area is very tight-winded, and then it leads to big open caves that. Let me turn my mob sounds down. And that leads into bigger open caves that kind of go out into newer, bigger caves again.
Right. And I guess it's around here, maybe, that you first introduce the hanging lanterns that kind of do a good job of helping to kind of connect this area throughout. This place kind of winds both inside and outside the candlelit cavern. And the lanterns, I feel like, whenever you feel like you might be getting lost, like, do a good job of keeping you on the path, on the straight and narrow, to make sure you
Yeah,
know where you're going.
these were quite a late addition because with all the vines around and there being light in the pillars, like the pillars all have glowstone kind of hidden in the backs of them,
Right, right.
or redstone
Or the
torches.
stalactites, the giant stalactites that you had, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the lanterns are basically there to signify, like, hey, you should check this out. And yeah, it used to be very confusing because people would only see one way here and never know
Hmm.
about the second way because they didn't look around enough.
Right.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
just
I don't know if I found this way. Does this go somewhere?
yeah, this goes to the lower side because you can go
Oh,
right.
that's right, because there's two ways to go through, and there were a number of people who, yeah, went one way versus the other
Yeah,
way, end
so
up
the
on the bottom of the creepers versus the top of the creepers first.
so the path splits either left or right.
So yeah,
And
I ended
then
up turning left after dealing with the rush creeps,
the rush creeps.
which is,
Yes.
yeah, a very simple mob modification to make the creepers more interesting, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I see it's carpet
It's
on
carpet
top.
on top.
So you come up here and you're like, oh, I finally earned myself a prize. And then kablam, lots of gravel
Yeah, now
falls.
I was just hoping that people who would pillar up from here would just get knocked off by the gravel
Right.
and not much else.
Yeah, I think I actually
More
took
of
some suffocation damage from it.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Not
and I'd already knocked down the sign, but I think it actually said flak tunic rather than black tunic. So that sounds like a fix that happened at some point in the map.
yeah, I fixed that typo. One of many.
And yeah, it's green and it's blast protection, and so it's appropriate for the very rush creep heavy area.
Yeah, I like when you have a skeleton heavy area, give out some projectile protection because that will actually make the loot more noteworthy,
Hmm.
and it will also provide some tools for players.
Rabbit hide is chains, right?
Yeah, rabbit hide is chains.
Okay. I think I did find this chest, and so I guess I did have some chains at some point that I found in a chest, but I think like the other three chests
Yeah,
that had chains in this intersection I missed.
um, yeah, I might have changed it because I actually changed quite a few chests
Oh,
around the
okay.
room, especially at the start.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Should we go right first?
I guess, yeah, it'll be like a new and exciting adventure for me.
Shall I put you in survival mode? Gives you some torches. Uh,
No, that's okay.
and then some like really obvious gravel pits
Yeah.
or fake gravel pits. And then this basically just comes out at the undersection. And when you went left, you would actually come out of
Yeah.
here.
And so, I mean, I guess we've added some light to it or whatever, and I'm looking with night vision, but if I turn it off, back when I was in the castle, like I saw a lamp over there or some kind of light over there. Like there were a number of vantage points from Candlelit Castle where you could see some of the light peeking out from various points of Ballast Passage.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up building over to it from a number of different directions at different points. So that also kind
Just
of
to
like,
see what it is.
yeah, confused things on my end. I did not
Yeah.
expect Ballast Passage to be kind of like the layout that it was, but once I started going through it, I was like, oh, I get it. It's just winding all around the outside.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it happens when you literally don't know what's the map's gonna do as well.
Right.
Because yeah, most people wouldn't expect me like pulling that kind of trick where
Yeah.
the whole area goes around another area.
Yep. Yeah, and so this is an example like this lantern right here is one of the things like I came out at this end at some point and I was like, well, now where do I go? And I was like, oh
Yeah,
wait, there's a lantern there. There's a lantern here. I get it. And so I feel like
yeah.
you do a good job of like there is a fun path or there are fun paths. Hello, spiders. Um, and sometimes they're not easy to see, but you always have, some clues, some breadcrumbs of what's
A, lo-
going on.
a lot of people when they came out, if they would literally think the same thing, like, oh, nothing's going on, let me go back, and they would choose the other way. But that's why I added now the stone brick on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, oh, hey, this is
It's a broken
supposed to
bridge,
continue.
right?
Yeah, and I also added the lantern at the end, saying, hey,
Yeah.
come to the lantern.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the lantern was in my version. I don't remember if the stone brick was in my version, but yeah, that's good just to help steer people on the path. But at the same
Yeah.
time, they feel that they're kind of just exploring and could go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, this room, I guess, had multiple rush creep spawners in it. And so this was one of the more dangerous rooms. And then obviously you could fall down the hole into the other side.
Yeah, every room has two of them, except for the first one. That one has one. So this upper one has two rush creep spawners. So you have this
Uh,
one, and then there's
one in
one
the
at the
back
back of
corner. Yeah.
another pillar. Oh, here it is.
Ah,
And that's the second one.
indeed. Yeah, and so this is trying to think. I probably saw somebody die in this room.
I
But
think
I don't know that it actually like killed that many folks necessarily, but it was definitely a scary room. It could also kind of whittle you down as you're going
these
through these passages,
these creepers are really scary. A lot of
especially on this
people,
terrain.
yeah, a lot of people also really overreacted. At least I
Uh-huh.
got messages saying, "Oh, you should totally nerf this because these creepers are super dangerous." And I don't really see that many people dying. They're
Yeah.
just scary.
You've already given out at this point, like, even if people took like different paths through the map, like they probably have at least one or two shields. And so long as you see the creeper coming, like, until your shield durability gets completely worn down, it's not bad. And like we just showed, there's only two spawners in here. So if you can deal with that, it's a very scary room, but it's not that bad. It's just the fact I think also that it comes in and it looks so big and dark and there's a place to fall through the floor. I don't remember how thick the floor actually is. I guess it's like only right at the very center that it's only one thick and it's usually like 3 or 4 blocks thick. And so if the creepers do explode in other spots, they're not going to like cause you to fall into the lower room.
Yeah, there's the floors around 4 thick at the minimum. Oh, actually, unless the gravel breaks,
I see. So yeah,
then
but
right
that's
here.
that would only be probably if someone had, I don't know, already been in the
Yeah,
bottom
or
portion
or
of the room
a,
and
cr- a,
pillared up or
a,
something.
yeah, or creeper blast, like right here, might do it
Maybe
as
if it was
well.
perfect. Yeah, I'm not sure if it would have gotten enough to set off the
Yeah,
gravel. I'm
because it
gonna
only
go ahead
needs
and
to
break
break
some of the spawners just so we don't have a zillion of them here.
all the nameplates. I like as
And
well that the gravel, if you explode them up here, and some of the gravel breaks down below,
uh-huh.
it kind of just changes the layout of what's happening down below.
Yeah, that's
Kind of like
true.
the dynamic idea of that.
Yeah. Depending upon what order you come in or whatever, like people will see kind of like a little bit of a different room. And I don't even remember if I
Mm,
saw this potion chest the first time I came through here or not. But yeah, potions low is not a chest that I would feel bad for missing really.
yeah, there's a books chest and a potion chest. So the books chest is in the room
In the
lower.
lower one, yeah. I think I
Yeah,
did see that one.
and there's quite a bit of money. So yeah, this is where you would come out of from like the underside, so from the underpath.
Oh, sorry, hold on, let me come follow you. Oh,
Uh,
right, the two of them just go together, and there's this little zombie path with the terror charm, or zombie
yeah,
gravel trap with the terror charm in between.
yeah, that's where the paths connect up.
Right. And so, yeah, I've seen people kind of like come at this from both sides. And this actually kind of like little bottleneck room with the Terra Charm, I was surprised. Like, this felt like just because there was the chest on top of all this gravel. We've seen a few gravel floors or whatever, but also hearing the zombies, like, I feel like at least one or two people actually were surprised by the trap
But
here, which kind of surprised me that
yeah,
anyone would be surprised. But there was a lot going on with the rush creepers around.
yeah, this one was meant to be pretty obvious that it was there because I could have put a floating gravel block like right here, and then put torches on it. And then once a gravel piece fell on it, this gravel piece would fall down and the torches would pop off, and then it would become dark. And then you would have heard the
Oh, I see. And that way it would not have spawned any zombies until you set off the trap, and so you wouldn't hear it coming. You'd only.
exactly.
I
I've
see.
done it with the creeper
Yeah, the
variants of
creepers, yeah. I think in the crystal caverns or whatever, yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah. That's fun. That's cool. Terra Charm, I think, was one of the probably good ones, but not one that I was willing to use. Oh no. I did use like the was there an advanced Terra Charms later? I mean, no, I guess it was just the Terra
Yeah,
Charm.
there's an advanced Terrachem
Oh,
that
there
gives
is?
more armor toughness. I don't think much extra armor. The
Yeah.
armor toughness is really nice early on,
Yes. Yes.
but
And
I
late
would
too.
first, yeah, that as well. But I would personally recommend the speed one, just because speed is kind of broken in this game. Because
Yeah, it's not my
the
style
mob,
of play. I would have liked to have had the speed one when I was doing the sewers because they were so flat. Um, when it's a
mhm.
nice flat open area and I can really see what I'm doing, I like having speed, but otherwise, like in an area like this, like I just feel like the speed is gonna mess me up. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of other people like the speed charm. But yeah, the Terra
Yeah,
charm I did use some.
hmm it's also dependent if you do, for example, like the very last area, you may also not want to have speed
So then we come to
because
this area.
you might fall.
It reminds me a little bit of possibly like some part of Kaizo, but also I think the Red Wool and Nightmare Realm. Um, Basically, like it's almost like a puzzle with all the gravel in terms of like, is there a way to get around and what's going to happen if you screw it up? Or at least that's how
This
I treated it. A bunch of other people just kind of like went through and just set off all the traps.
Oh yeah, it's actually yeah, it's exactly that. It's like a puzzle. I did this in my very first map, and I felt it would be a good throwback because there was a lot of gravel in the area already.
Uh-huh.
So let's kind of like double down on that idea.
Okay.
So I tried. Let's try to basically put the same idea kind of back again because
Which section
it's
of
so long
Goliath had
ago.
it? I don't really remember from Ward's playthrough.
In the fourth intersection, there's an area called Into Ice, and you go into like a mossy cobble temple.
I
And
see.
at the end, before you reach intersection 5, there's this long hallway with all these gravel columns and triggers next to them. Let me see. Most of these are pretty harmless. Actually, the lower ones might.
I set some off
Oh,
back here.
okay, it's on the on the opposite side. There's the redstone torch.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're basically some of these are connected to the cave spider dispensers.
Right.
And then further on, I think these are connected to uh, creeper. Yeah, over right over here, you can see the little indent. These are connected to creepers that get like it's like a little creeper cubby that's got retracted.
I see.
And if you look into spectator mode,
All right.
you can see that I put a torch on top to kind of mask the walking sound until the torch gets
Got it. So the
popped
pistons
up.
move, then that breaks the torch off, and then the creepers start spawning in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Neat.
And with quite a lot of these, the puzzle is basically like which gravel block do you break?
Right. This one I realized, okay, I can break this one and nothing is going to update. And so I managed to get through there. And then the
And
same
this
kind
one.
of thing here was like, okay, if I break this one, there might be something in the floor, but this one's obviously not connected to anything. So I was able to reason through that. And this one, I think I took a gamble that the floor wouldn't fall on this one and it ended up being okay. I don't know if there was a better way to do this one.
This one, what I was hoping, at least my idea of this one, is
Uh-huh.
you would break this one, and then this one.
Oh,
So it's like
yep,
they're kind of connected.
yep,
So like level 2, you need level 2 to complete level 3, kind of.
right, yep. I did not notice that when I was coming through here.
Yeah, that's for the really smart people. And this one is just unavoidable. Actually, you can go on top. I
Yeah.
think. No, wait, yeah,
Well,
you
yeah, I
can
was gonna
go
say, yeah, at
diagonal
this
right
point,
there.
anytime you're just kind of taking a guess at this point, anywhere you dig through the walls about what might happen. Um,
Yeah, this one just drops a few creepers down.
and then if you don't have night vision and you're coming into this room, it almost looks like this is a record disc kind of thing from the distance, just because it's kind of square and it's got something kind of lit up in the center if you're looking at it from the right angle. But
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that.
yeah,
But yeah, not that quick. I'm gonna make you work for it.
indeed. So yeah, then also
And
just like coming into this room or whatever, like once you got through that whole passage, like it seems like that was something that really wore people down, and some people took some deaths like toward the end. And then this room, I guess it was mostly because people were worn down, like also caused people some trouble. I guess the skeletons, especially, who were up here,
yeah,
and might be easy to miss because a lot of people just come up and break the zombie spawner here, and then they're like, "Where are the skeletons coming from?"
this tower is actually these types of towers can actually be pretty difficult if you do not know how to really attack them.
Right.
And
There's a
this is
bunch
the
of them, I
first
guess,
one.
in, is it in Crystal Gardens again or whatever?
Yeah, it's in the Crystal Gardens.
And so by then you had better gear and also were getting a little bit more used to them. But yeah, this was the first time we encountered one of these in this map.
Yeah,
And go
I
ahead.
like the idea of these towers because instead of just plopping a spawner down and calling it a day,
Hmm.
we actually built like a little structure that actually makes it so it's hard to reach the spawners.
Yep.
Any mobs have a advantage over you,
Right.
kind of like assaulting a mini castle or some
And
loot at the top.
yeah, you do this in a number of places, but cobwebs that can trap skeletons and occasionally also creepers, so that they're kind of just hanging in the air, like can be extremely effective.
Yeah.
For, if the player spends an amount of time in here, you could end up building a bunch of skeletons pretty quickly that are just kind of like slowly about to fall on the player and already probably shooting at him.
Mm-hmm. And then right over here, I think I saw a few people who were like, "Oh, this uh, gravel? No, clay is really close to the edge. Let me just break these blocks as a shortcut."
Yeah, I'm not sure how effective of a shortcut it would be. I know at some point I had built over from, yeah, I think from the courtyard over here again. I'd just seen a bunch of lights and different things from the castle, and so I'd like built from here to here, I think maybe at some point,
Mm-hmm.
just for different ways to get back in that were pretty quick.
And then you have this lone waterfall, the
Hmm.
whole area. I tried to avoid using small little waterfalls, so when you would find it, it would become more suspicious,
Hmm.
which leads to this like secret cave up here.
And this was a good secret cave to find. There was a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah, you have the boulder blades.
The boulder
Just a
blade, very good.
chunk.
I repaired this like a few times or whatever because, um, yeah, that was a good sword.
Yeah, especially in a part of the map where you don't really have much in terms of enchanted gear.
Yeah, and obviously an emerald.
Emeralds.
And then there's all
And
these bad guys coming out of the waterfall. How mean! Who would do such a thing?
I have no idea. I'm innocent of this crime.
But at least they were guarding something.
Something worthwhile.
It was iron.
Iron.
Do you know offhand like how much iron was here? I don't
Um.
know, like when you're kind of early in the map, like if you count how many bits that you give out,
Yeah,
or you just kind of.
I do count them, and I know there's about equal amounts. So I think like wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think there's about 40. Oh, there's 15 actually here. I think there's about 48.
Oh wow.
Like in all of intersection 1. Because there's some here.
Hmm.
There's some
Underneath the
kind of,
bridge. We haven't gotten
yeah,
there
there's
yet.
some underneath the bridge, which is also around 16. And then there's some up near the bonus dungeon 2, near the
Oh,
mines.
right, right, right. Yep.
And that basically tallies up to 48, which is quite a bit for intersection 1. But yeah, you need to actually find it.
I see. Yeah, and it's also good. Yeah, it's spread out like in a number of different directions, and so since it is, especially intersection one, pretty open worldish or whatever, people could be going in different directions, and so any direction they choose to go, they have the opportunity to get some iron, which they could either use for crafting some backup shields or some armor or whatever they want to use it for.
Exactly. You can get iron armor really quickly in this map, and iron armor kind of changes the game. At least when you have a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then
And
here,
then yeah, I was surprised that a number of people didn't seem to find this little shortcut area that
yeah,
was right by the chest. The fact that it was near the
yeah.
chest is the main thing, I feel like.
The thing is, I put the chest here just so people like would open it and then would see the hallway.
Right. And yeah, there's some light back there, I guess.
Just to kind of key it off even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were 2 stone blocks here. That's the most different here
Right.
than the floor and the other walls. So then you would dig them, and then you would find bonus dungeon 2.
Right. One of three or four different kind of ways to potentially find that area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and there was a bunch of coal in here too, which is always nice just to find that. So you've
Yeah,
got
there's a lot
coal,
of cool.
iron, emerald, good sword, shortcut to another area. So this was a very good waterfall to come up.
I've heard one person actually ran out of coal multiple times in this map. Like, straight up ran out of all the coal. Because they just used it everywhere and died so much.
Ah,
I tried to give finite amounts, like the ridiculous amount of iron and diamonds,
uh-huh.
just so there's always a minimum level of gear.
Right.
Because that's one pet peeve of mine when map makers don't do that. Because you want to set like a minimum amount of gear, because otherwise people are just gonna get frustrated because they can't make anything.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely, yeah, a point where if you lose stuff, you can fall off a cliff. I'd forgotten, we talked about the turrets, but we didn't actually take a look. Is this, yeah. I guess this is just a set of protection one leather armor. I guess later on there was, I think it was like Prot 3 or something on Breaking
Yeah,
3 that you would give out that was actually kind of good backup armor for uh, anytime you were going on like a corpse run kind of thing or something.
yeah.
Is what I typically used it
So
for.
the armor, you have the very low, which is just protection 1 gear. That's better than your standard leather armor.
Right?
So that's a plus there. When you don't have iron yet, the protection 3 leather stuff
Hmm.
is actually it provides the same protection
That's just basic
as
iron.
iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there on, I start to um I start to improve on actually using iron armor and then using diamond armor.
Right.
But,
But yeah, there's
um
definitely it's as you're kind of like ramping up, yeah, we talked about how chain is a little bit of kind of an underpowered tier that you can't do a whole lot with or whatever, but yeah, either getting up to higher tiers of protection leather or having iron, like there's a huge difference between just nothing or leather armor and going up to unenchanted iron or like the protection leather armor. Um,
yeah,
it really gives
I
you a whole
could
lot more
I
durability.
could have really given out like iron armor instead of the protection 3 gear, but
Hmm.
I really like the idea of actually giving out gear that they cannot enchant,
Hmm.
just so when they actually make the iron armor themselves, it actually feels better because it's really a whole new tier that just wasn't given to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, especially yeah when you get later and they have iron or whatever. So at that point, they definitely have anvils and they definitely have books because there are a number of different places that you could have picked up some books.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then yeah, so from this room, there's an obvious staircase.
This used to be redstone torches, so it used to be way harder to see. And
I
there used
see.
to be more vines.
I see. Yeah, the
So
lanterns are.
quite a few people missed this.
I see. That's good. And yeah, obviously this is important to find. since there is a record disc coming up over here. I saw a number of people where Enderman ended up dropping off mycelium kind of in this hallway, and so it didn't end up having kind of the shape that the hallway originally did, and so the zombies were already like walking around and doing things. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, I guess you've already updated that now into with your fixes so that the Enderman won't be picking up and screwing with those blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But here's another case of these little rooms.
The double zombie room.
Hmm.
And then another really nice fake out trap, like oh this floor is like totally trapped, so I'm not gonna touch it or whatever other people think.
Hmm.
And then some people will think, oh, I will just these pressure plates will probably trigger the ceiling, so let me break the ceiling and just see what happens.
Hmm.
And it just spawns a bunch of creepers on you.
Yep. But if you
So it's kind of
did,
like
just ignore the floor and ignore the ceiling or whatever, you'd end up being perfectly fine. And actually, I saw one or two people do that.
exactly.
Okay, and now the question that I have, which is you come to here, and we've got the double rooms again. There's no
Hmm.
spawner in this room.
Yeah, that's on purpose because I felt there were too many spawners here.
Okay. It felt like the type of thing that there was probably a reason. I'm not sure what. I guess it's just because it was so obvious. Like,
Yeah,
it
it
would be
is so
such a
obvious.
dumb
Like,
thing to leave
why?
out. So,
This is
yeah.
like the sixth room you find. It's literally 5 by 5 by 2. Why is there not one there?
Hmm. And it also
Maybe.
it kind of like can possibly slow the player down because they're like, that's really weird. And so they're standing here, and unbeknownst to them, they're spawning more skeletons up on the sledge who are about to come after them.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that fact.
Right.
But I just thought there were just too many spawners here, especially when you have two skeleton spawners this early
Hmm.
on. I felt I need to go a little bit tamer on just
And
the
yeah, with the
regular
night vision,
mobs.
it's a little bit easier to see. And now that we've got torches up there, but yeah, with all the vines that were there, like it's very easy to miss the skeletons until all of a sudden there's a few skeletons around who are shooting you, and you're like, where are these guys coming from?
Yeah, what's happening?
Oh my goodness.
And then the objective is right here as well.
Yep.
People are
I,
always surprised also when they find this here.
Yeah, I mean, you can be, I mean, literally here, and then like, it's visible here, but you're distracted by the zombies in these rooms that you found multiple times, and so you're running here and you're running here, and so then you can actually like step through the vines and not have seen that it was coming, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a music disc, I'm done, hooray.
It's like behind the curtain, what mystery lies there, and then it's a record.
And yeah, this whole area was a gauntlet, I feel like, for a lot of the people that I saw kind of as a playthrough, and so it felt very rewarding to get here.
Hmm. I remember you, I think it was you, who heard the monster noises from up here. Yeah, you from the ledge. So if you go into spectator mode,
Okay?
and then you can actually hear the monster noises from the ledge up here. So from the coal ledge,
Oh, yeah, I don't think it was me. Um,
might have been someone else then.
yeah,
But yeah, you can also hear the monster noises from here if you actually miss it.
right. Because, yeah, I think I came the other direction.
Hmm.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then in spectator mode, we can actually see the little creeper room that was above the gravel if you broke the gravel in the ceiling.
Yes.
All right, and then perhaps the best death that I had came in the other end of this room with the turret.
Wait. Yoink.
Zoop.
Oh yeah, this one was really funny.
Because I came up here and I saw the vines and I saw that it all becomes smooth stone. Like we'd had so much of the gravel mixed in and different things. And so my spidey senses went off and I was like, all the smooth stone and we're headed downhill. This would
There's
be a
all
great
lights
place.
as well.
This would be a great place to set a bunch of pressure plates on the floor for a trap. And so I said that, and I came down here, and I don't remember if like I saw something in particular that was just over here that
Yeah,
caused me to stop
there was a
looking down.
creeper, I think. And you were
Okay.
like, yoop doop de doo. I wonder if this is really good place to put a trap, and then click.
And so I set off the trap, and I wasn't sure what it had spawned behind me. I don't think I even like turned around, but I was like, "Oh gosh darn it!" I was just so upset with myself that I was like, "Okay, let's just run forward and hope for the best." And I ran forward, and I ran forward into the room that has da 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 rush creeps.
Super creeper or rush creepers.
Yeah, so Yeah, I tried to
You
wall
huddle up
myself
in the
off in the
corner.
corner or something, and yeah, ended up dying
Hmm.
right over here. So I felt very dumb.
And then Brian got exploded into Brian pieces.
Yep. And I guess there's two rush creep spawners in here as well.
Yeah, one in the front and one relatively in the
Yeah,
back.
and this room, yeah, just because of the dense vines and again the weird terrain or whatever, like, other than me, I don't know that I saw anybody die in here, but it was definitely, it felt very threatening.
Yeah, this is basically this room is here to also make the hallway
Farther to
feel
see.
less long. Yeah. So I remember
Oh, I
here,
see, because it is, yeah, a long way to travel
yeah,
to the
in Myriad
intersection.
Cave, they used to have these long hallways in between everything. And I remember you pointing out that you really didn't like the feeling of it just being a hallway that you walk through.
I see. So instead, you gave me bonus creepers to kill me. All
Yay!
right,
And
so
they
it's all
work.
my fault.
Mm-hmm. It's karma.
So I saw in War's playthrough that it was intersection 3, and he was like, because he found this before intersection 2, obviously, like most people did, and he was like, "Excuse me,
Mhm.
sir, is this a typo?" So then you added the
Yeah.
sign.
So I just wanted to make sure that people knew it's a typo.
This is not a typo. This is really intersection 3. That said, I was surprised. I saw at least one and possibly two people who were like, intersection 3, I haven't done intersection 2 yet, and like turned around rather than unlock the shortcut. When, if you've already found the ritual grounds, like it's very clear that there's going to be a shortcut back from the intersections. So I don't understand why anyone would do that, but I did see people do that. So that's again, like, I don't understand people's behavior sometimes.
Yeah, that's also kind of why I put the water little elevator back there.
Oh, just
With
to
the
make it
drink.
easier to kind of get back here if you did do that.
Exactly.
I see.
Then the little mine shaft, so the change of scenery.
Right. I
I did
don't
not.
remember. Was there a chest back here? Yeah.
Now there is. Now there is. There used
Oh,
to not.
okay. I saw it in someone else's playthrough, I guess.
That's a really good one, actually.
Yeah, the piercing, I fired a few piercing arrows at some point. Or maybe I was just watching someone else do it because maybe I didn't have them in my map or didn't try it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and that's pretty cool when you have like a dense area with monsters and you can like hit multiple with a single shot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to make a at least in like one of the first areas of a map where you don't have much.
Hmm.
Just get one arrow and one of those crossbows, and just have like piercing 5 on it, so you can hit as many mobs, but your arrow never disappears. You just have to pick it up again, and that would be the
Oh, I see what
combat.
you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That might be a fun little
That could be an
idea as
interesting
well.
mechanic. All right, this is probably one of the meanest things in the map, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, you come down here
And
and
you're like, oh, money above me. Let's me mine
oh, I
it.
don't even think I saw the money. I just started walking down here, and then at
It's
some
just
point, yeah, like the potion spawners go off, and they were like these potions could kill you. I think I saw it kill at least one person.
yeah. I think at some point I actually nerfed them from. Oh no, I did not. I'm not gonna say anything then.
Did you change the frequency? Because it feels like they might be shooting a little bit less frequently or something. I don't know if that's easy to do. I guess
I
you could
don't
update
think I
some
did.
repeaters. I don't remember.
No, and it's basically just four very short pulses that get sent. So I basically first do a pulse shortener to make the pulse one thick, one long.
Hmm.
And then I basically, with repeaters, with delays, I send that to the piston.
Right.
And it all gets triggered by a silverfish spawner.
Yep. This efficient potion dispenser is imported from Buried Caves.
Yep. I used it in, I think, the final few areas.
And
I had a few of these.
and
So I
so
literally import and
I
improved it a
presume
bit.
when you built it, like you built it where all of these are monster egg blocks as opposed to stone, and it's not just the
Yes.
case that like the silverfish you get dispensed like ended up converting it at some point along the way, and so that makes it
No.
very difficult for the player to come in and take it apart safely as well.
Yeah, unless you have the bonus item from area 1. Because
Oh, the flame thingy. Yeah, I didn't think to try to use that against the silverfish.
function Soulstar give all. I think you should have gotten all potions now. So if I summon actually one of these orbs, and these are actually really good against silverfish.
I
Alright,
see. Yeah, I
nice.
know they're really good against magma cubes. I learned that from watching Kit.
Yeah, I'll basically fillers, small mobs
Got
get
it.
killed really quickly. So you can actually just take down all Silvish blocks here really easily, and
Right.
you would
And you get
have,
tons of soul from doing it too, yeah.
yeah, you have really great amount of soul.
So yeah, I think at that point I did have that potion, but didn't realize how useful or powerful it was in certain circumstances, and so I don't remember how I was carrying it around or not.
Yeah, it's quite powerful. Like you can easily just kill a whole swarm like that.
Yep. So yeah, area of effect is definitely cool, a cool thing to give at some point, and it was just kind of, I guess, have I played another map where I've actually had like an area of effect spell like that? I don't remember.
I know,
Um,
I think Ragecraft 3 has it, but you haven't played
yeah,
that one.
yeah, I only watched that one. So yeah, I didn't really have a
Mm-hmm.
chance to interact with it myself, and so it took me a little while to kind of like figure out how to use it effectively.
Mm-hmm. And this piece is actually quite important because this allows players to do multiple things here.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I saw anybody like explore over here. Like I remember seeing something over here maybe, but I don't think I ever
Yeah,
went over
I'm
here to
actually
check it out.
sad that most people, like, actually everybody just walked straight up ahead and
Well,
would
I
see
mean,
the
when you
little
know you're,
glimpse.
at least in my mind, when you know you're about to get a shortcut at another intersection or whatever, like, yeah, there's awesome distractions and visuals on the different sides, but like, I have a goal in mind now, and so I want to accomplish the goal before I do anything else. I want to save my progress.
True. But yeah, you get this weird view from here because you have the bridge and then you can't see the other side and you see this weird purple and blue thing and it's like black chains in the distance.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
very good
then
effect, and also it's like the fact that the fog distance kicks in with the server render distance or whatever, like, also makes this super effective in this setting.
yeah,
I think I might have been able to see the back wall in my playthrough, but yeah.
it gives a cool weird effect and it really like it's kind of a small glimpse of that the map is really gonna open up to a whole new level. And then on the left you can find some money, a little chest with a cool pickaxe.
Sturdy pickaxe. Oh,
Used to
that's pretty
be
good.
Yes. I think no one actually found the money up here. Because why would you go up here when you.
Oh wow, full amethyst and a bunch of nuggets it looks like.
Yeah. There used to be iron ore around here as well.
I
But I
see.
think I just replaced it with the money. Like behind the lava.
But yeah, I
Hmm.
never, yeah, bothered to kind of come back and look here, even though the first time I came through I was thinking, oh, there could be things here.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, someone in my chat says they found it.
Oh, nice. And then this, I would hope I was hoping the lighting would cue quite a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw someone at least who actually went back and actually just went left here and basically made a bridge across the lava ravine because they didn't see the
Oh, that there is a
little,
way to turn? Yeah.
yeah, the little light hallway. Because um I tried to basically make a one way hallway again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you found this area
Right. You don't find your
from
way.
another point, you could kind of skip parts of the last passage was the idea. So I tried to counteract that by making you not being able to find
Right.
the
Yeah. It did the same thing, yeah, basically with intersection 2 when you first come into it as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's, yeah, the effective kind of Metroidvania. It feels like a one-way passage that you have to unlock it from one side, even though it's really just the knowledge of knowing what block to break.
Yes. And then you're at intersection 3, which has now saying a shortcut to ritual grounds and monuments. So if you haven't found them,
Hooray!
it's like, hey, monument. I try to be really obvious about it now. Like, hey, you want to go here?
I literally, let me read the, I have a bunch of notes.
It used to say just ritual grounds, I think, or
Intersection
just
3, shortcut to ritual grounds, should have said, and monument for folks like Clover who forgot the area names. So I'm literally reading
that
out of my
was it.
notes, so I'm glad you did exactly that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it was very disappointing to see them get all the way to find here and then go all the way back. Yeah,
and then
it
never
felt like
explain.
Zisto and the Victory Monument in Legendary.
Oh yeah, a home of victory. Oh, that sounds interesting. Next.
All right, but yeah, we can come back to intersection 3 later. We still have stuff in intersection 1 and 2 to
Mhm.
do.
Another intersection for another stream.
Yeah, but there we go. Push a button. Very simple. Makes you
Oh,
realize
that's
how
good.
tightly wound everything is because, yeah, intersection 3 and intersection 1 are very close together. Intersection 2
Yeah,
feels farther away, but I guess it's just the verticality of it.
I try to um I try to really avoid using teleporters. So then my idea was let's just put everything so close together that you don't necessarily have to even use the rail line.
Yeah, I did not use this rail. Like I used it once or twice, and then I realized, you know what, it's just faster to run. And I
Exactly.
actually, I don't know if you remember, like I dug straight through the wall to get to the merchants. Um, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So since we're here, briefly, let's talk about the merchants because these guys, at a glance, like one of them sells stuff that's very similar to the other guy. He's called Advanced Merchant. I don't remember what the original guy was called.
Yeah, they're
Um,
both basically level twos of the guys you find it in section one.
right. And the name definitely suggests it, but I didn't remember exactly what the trades were, and I saw like a bunch of the same stuff or whatever, and so it wasn't immediately obvious to me that this guy has better prices, basically, on
Oh
the
yeah.
consumables. And furthermore, um, the other thing was then, I'd go back home and obviously, I set up my base at the ritual grounds. I guess we haven't actually talked about the ritual grounds at all.
Nope.
So we have to go back there and talk about it. Um, but I set my base up here, and obviously it has over in this little mushroom hut the original normal merchant who's not advanced. Um, Yeah, but like my base is here and my stuff is here, and if I want to go trade with the advanced guy, like I have to do all the travel. Like it's not that far, but still all the travel over to the other merchant. I would have loved it if, as you unlock the intersections, any new merchants also, reappeared somewhere back inside the ritual grounds near your base, so you didn't have to
Mm,
travel anytime you wanted to interact with
on
them.
one hand, I was thinking of doing that, and
Hmm.
on the other hand, I actually kind of like the idea of the player having to actually transport them because every villager, except for the very last ones, um, you can actually transport them with rails.
I see. It's
Even the
funny because
one,
I transported other mobs with rails, but I didn't think to try. No, I did transport the villager with the rail actually. I forgot about that.
yeah, because there's a huge shortcut in one of the later areas because that villager is not close
Yeah, the
to an
submarine
intersection
city,
at all.
submarine castle guy or whatever.
Yeah, so I put a massive fancy rail line there just
Right.
so people could see, put it back easier as well.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
He's
I did end up
far away.
transporting him, but I felt resentful about it, I guess.
Yeah, he's far away. I can definitely agree with that. Maybe
um,
like a button of like move to the monument could be a cool idea as well.
yeah, I
And
don't
you
know. I
make
mean,
little houses for them or something.
yeah, it kind of just is depends on the whole kind of like philosophy in terms of like using the rails for travel in general or whatever. Like, there's some people who definitely prefer the teleporters, and obviously you like having things close together and having the old school feel of the rails, and so there's trade offs.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think there was a war. We made a small rail line from
Oh
here.
yeah, it was awesome. Then it like did a little wind around until
Did a
like he
little
every time he
wind
got
like
on the rail line, he like got a little shot of Candlelit Castle as he was going around, and yeah, he had fun
oh
with
that,
it.
that that just humbles me so much because that means just you enjoy the vistas and you actually acknowledge it as well, which just makes me really happy
Yeah,
just to see that people enjoy it.
yeah, because yeah, it is a good vista here, and yeah, I think I might have seen someone else find these blocks, and I might have actually this might have been one of the few chests that I saw somebody else get, and I ended up getting it myself, even though I didn't find it myself because
Yeah, for some reason
blocks
this
are
one
nice.
is really
You
really elusive.
you never have a reason to go there, right? I mean, when you're at the monument, you're either coming from Candlelit Castle or you're going to here, you're going to the monument, and so you have like a triangle, and obviously like the kind of like center of the area and like all the different points is over here, and so there just kind of isn't a
True.
reason to go back here, and
Like
there aren't
it's like
mobs to fight, and so I don't know.
there's like a big pillar. I would at least like look around the pillar at least.
Yeah, I mean it makes total rational sense. But I guess there's something about your safe base area and versus like an area where you're fighting mobs and feel like you're trying to find secrets or something.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just like you're in a different mindset. That's another
Yeah, that.
thing. Yeah, like anytime I'm about to manage my inventory, like that kind of starts taking 100% of my brain power. And so oftentimes when I'm coming in or out of here, it's like, okay, I need to drop off this stuff in this chest. I need to put the record down. I need to make sure I refill on this and blah, 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 blah. And so like when I'm coming to this area, my mind is on other things.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Um, I guess we can talk about the overall design of the monument now.
Yeah, definitely.
So the monument, at least I thought it was obvious because it's this massive lit up thing, was relatively easy to find. Not for most people.
Right. Yeah, you could see it in the distance from another places, number of places. You could get a much better look at it from a few places in Candlelit Castle or Bastalt Passage. I don't know that you could really see it all that well from like the first intersection, so I feel like those are the only places that you got a really good look. I don't remember even from Brightwater when we're down there eventually.
You can see it from here because it's really lit up over there, and then like it's just this massive lit up thing over here with mushrooms and this little castle, and it's bright. Doesn't
Yeah,
look off.
yeah. I guess the brightness is the thing that really should have clued me in. Like I saw the color,
Hmm.
but it also I don't know. There's something about the giant red mushrooms that just makes me think of a mob infested area rather than a friendly area. I'm not sure why. Um, so yeah, I saw it from the distance and I saw the light and my brain just never clued into, oh, maybe that's the monument early in the map.
Oh yeah. So the monument basically has two parts to it. There's a section that's meant for building, which is this part right here,
Right?
and then there's the actual monument section through the
And
mausoleum
and yeah,
temple.
and yeah, I do feel like that differentiation was good because it gives people the opportunity to do some base building if they want to, and I saw a few people doing that. Um,
I saw a lot
and
of people do base building, which
yeah,
is amazing because this game is still a building game, and it's just cool to see what people come up with as well.
yeah. And so you gave, let's see, there were some blocks in here that were kind of like blocks that would be good for repairing kind of like this existing structure.
I was hoping people would do that, but I think I only saw one or two people actually like completely renovate this, yeah, this kind of like mage tower kind of thing.
Right. It's a little bit of a, in my opinion, like not particularly utilitarian kind of place to live. Just because of the very narrow hallways and it's kind of spread out and like I want a big chest area. Um,
Yeah, you there's not like a central chest room, for example.
right. But it looks kind of cool. And
Hmm.
also with there's a number of places in this map that like you do a good job of like having kind of implied lore. Like this place is all broken down, and so some of this is turned into gravel rather than stone, and there's spider webs in it, and there's cobwebs inside the
Yeah.
chest, and
At first, when I made the map and I released it to to the beta players, I was thinking of writing up still, because that was originally the plan as well. I want to just write up a bunch of lore as well, put them like in books or something. But I couldn't find a way that I was happy with because giving players books isn't really the most
right,
intuitive idea.
right,
And then putting it in chat, I feel also doesn't work. Voice acting, well, yeah, voice acting that's kind of hard to do in my opinion.
right. And also you have the well, I guess probably more so with voice acting than books is the language barrier potentially as well.
Exactly that as well. I would, I think if I'm gonna do lore, I'm gonna put like special items in chests that have like a few lines of lore, which kind of more like Hollow Knight style, just a few lines,
Mm-hmm.
and then people can kind of piece it together more.
Right. Or
Instead
yeah, like merchants, like if there were other NPC characters who you just like talk to for a few lines or whatever that could give a little bit of lore potentially.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I like the there's a few places in the map that I'll probably call it out where the building style just kind of like suggests some kind of lore for the area or something.
yeah. There's a consistency going on throughout the whole map. There's also a color palette going on. You have the end stone, it's the dark prismarine, and the combination with purple as well. And this also comes back in the logo of the map. So you have the dark blue, the yellow, and the purple hints.
Okay.
And those are basically reused quite often throughout the whole map, just to tie it all kind of together. I don't think many people notice that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't notice that, and I've seen the logo a million times on different people's video thumbnails and different things. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's not the type of thing. But I'm also like, yeah, colors and aesthetics and design kind of stuff like that is not something I think about in general anyway. Um,
Yeah,
so there's that. Um, the if you entered probably the way that most people entered, I imagine, from the entrance from Candlelit Castle or whatever, and like actually has the sign that has ritual grounds. You have the cookie
yeah.
dispenser.
I'm not sure if I would have chosen the name right now, just knowing that people wouldn't really tie it too much to the monument. But
Right.
my idea was that it would be a ritual that you would come back here to put the record on your monument.
And it also like it had the Hollow Knight kind of tie in again or whatever. I forget what the moth area was actually called.
That was the resting
Resting
grounds.
Grounds, I guess, was
Yeah.
its name or whatever. And so there was potentially that. But yeah, someone in my chat is already like saying that the name kind of turned them off. Didn't sound like it was going to be a good area. The cookies here also, it didn't occur to me when I was playing the map necessarily. But the cookies are perhaps the first food that people will encounter, and they do not have an effect. And so
Yeah,
that also discourages people from playing around with other foods. So this might have been a negative design decision or whatever, like in terms of making
it
the
is.
map not
I
as
should
effective.
have given them just some jump boost too for like a few seconds or something. Just something to at least say, hey, these things do something at least.
Or, yeah, not had it here.
That's true, but don't you like cookies?
I mean, I like cookies if they do something. I like cookies in real life. Maybe I'll have cookies
Mm,
when we take a little break at some point, but
Probably.
yeah. This it was like the first two times I ran through, I was like, okay, and then I was like, okay, this is cluttering my inventory. Put the cookies in the back in the dispenser, break the tripwire, move along with life. Um, so yeah, we're in creative mode. Um, Sorry, I might be cutting you off as you have more things to talk about in terms of overall the area. So I'll
I
let
know.
you
I
talk,
think
but
what you're talking about.
I'll definitely have some things to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, you're. I think you mean the stars, right?
Yeah. So I've been imagining, and obviously it's changed now because the intersections actually replenish your soul stars. But I was imagining in my playthrough that at some point I was going to get somewhere where I can get my soul stars back. I finally found this area. It did give me my soul stars back, but I was distracted and didn't notice. And when you have soul stars, everyone is going to be carrying around a healing potion the entire time. And the thing that they're going to do when they come back is heal back up. Was there a reason it didn't also give regen to just make it more obvious that you're getting all your stuff back here?
No. I specifically because maybe people wanted to mess around with like death mechanics.
Right, that's true. Okay, that's fair. I hadn't thought about that in terms of the trade-off of doing that. But I would have loved it if it were somehow more telegraphed to the player. Maybe the first time they enter the area. Well, again, yeah, I don't want
I
to break the immersion with text in the chat necessarily,
There's
but
now actually a sound effect. So if you
oh,
actually drink a potion, so I
uh-huh.
did change it after you gave your feedback, and so it actually
Oh, so you actually get the ding sound from getting the automatic soul in this area?
yeah.
Okay,
So now
that's
and it actually puts particles at your feet because it summons the
right. Yeah, it just summons it.
star.
Yeah, I saw it at your feet when you did that. Okay. That's actually a very nice change then. I like that. And it just fits in perfectly with how you normally get soul on the map. So it also just kind of carries the implication like you don't have to add anything new. Okay, that's a very good change then. Good job.
Mm, Thank you. Let's see. We have one of the merchants here, which is basically the same merchant as the in section one.
Right.
And we have this interesting little house over here. So this is the only place that if you stand right here, it actually starts thundering. Like if you look over there, the sky.
Uh-huh.
If I walk closer and farther away, or actually because you're now closer,
Right.
there's actually a small detection radius because you can only sleep if it's thundering or if it's snowing.
Oh, I see. And it's like, I guess probably like one tick before nighttime or something, daytime outside, or what time is it actually?
It's always just straight up day
Okay.
with
With the rain.
yeah, with rain because I just really like the gray sky and gray fog.
I see.
Because if you use a lighter color of fog, everything just looks grander. That's kind of what I learned from Legendary. But at the same time, you do want it night or raining or thundering, I mean, because you want players to be able to sleep. And this was before when you just right click the bed, it would set your spawn.
Right, right.
And then I actually want people in the bed as well because there's an observer
Right, yep. That you can actually
underneath.
see if you're like standing down at this level or whatever, like you can
Yeah,
see it there.
because with 1.16 you cannot sleep in. Oh, there's the thunder. You cannot sleep in a bed anymore, and it have it instantly explode in the overworld with the hell biome or nether biome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a one workaround to that. It's just use an observer.
Yep. And I saw you got a number of people with this, which kind of surprises me.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody die because most of the times when people like slept in it, say I'm in survival
Uh-huh.
and I would sleep in it and I would get out. Oh shit, that breaks. Oh, language. Sorry. And then you could literally just walk out of
Right.
like
If you
this
think
big
to break through the
wall.
mushroom blocks, like that's a whole lot faster than breaking through the wood that comes up, probably. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, that's definitely an easy way out. But yeah, if people weren't expecting it and then started trying to break the wood at the door, they might not get out. Um, I don't think I saw anyone die on camera, but I think someone talked about it having gotten them off camera or something.
yeah. Um, and then we can actually go to the actual monument, I guess.
All right.
Phew. The magical staircase that is not inconspicuous in the slightest. No one looks behind staircases.
I think I didn't originally, so I saw it perhaps in someone else's playthrough. Once again, it was the when I get to an area that it comes with a bunch of expectations, like I get focused on the expectation. I was like, oh, I want to go see the monument or whatever, and I kind of like forgot to come down here and look. But then when I
Mhm.
saw that it was just kind of credits and different things, it wasn't like super loot. That then I
At
just
first,
came and checked it out.
at first, this used to be only a chest, but then I replaced it also with the credits because I thought this was a good point for it. Close to
Yeah,
the monument, where
yeah,
I expect almost everybody to find this because it feels really obvious to me. But
I see. Yeah, and just in terms of like I don't know how CTM like tends to work, like people who played other maps should expect it.
yeah.
Um, and then yeah, the super loot that Kit did eventually find.
Hmm. That's actually exactly why it's a stick as well. It's just for kids.
I see. He's got his lucky stick, and he's been doing pretty well with it recently. So
Yep.
that is good.
And funny. This might actually be interesting to other map makers as well. There used to be just empty signs here,
Yeah, I think
and
there were in my version. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And these used to be here just because I was like, oh, there's signs on the
symmetry.
left. I'm gonna put them on the right for symmetry.
Right.
And then I got a bunch of messages asking me if their map was broken because half the sides were empty.
I see. Yeah, I
Uh,
can see that. Yeah, for me, it kind of occurred to me the symmetry, but yeah, I could totally imagine people thinking that like the NBT data fell off of the block or something, and yeah,
yeah, it just leads down or something.
yeah,
It just is something interesting that other map makers
right.
might just have to think about as well.
Since we were talking about the soul coming back at the monument or whatever, and I very much appreciate the sound effect now, people were also talking about the fact when you're in survival mode and you have full soul, you get the speed bonus. It was a little bit, we didn't kind of like talk about it in terms of like the core game mechanics at the beginning. It
Oh
was
yeah.
a little bit, I don't know, like disconcerting, or I could see that something was going on but wasn't quite sure, and then at some point looked at and realized that I had speed, and then some point figured out that I had speed when I had full soul. Um, Someone in the chat is saying that they find it, distracting when they're accustomed to running at this point and being able to make a certain jump, and then all of a sudden it changes, and it kind of constantly goes back and forth throughout the map. So there's a little bit of
I can see that. The most annoying thing, at least that I would think about, would be that the FOV changes, because I cannot stand the FOV changing.
right, yeah, it's really a shame that those two things are coupled.
There's actually a setting to disable that now.
Oh wow,
It's called FOV effects. If you go
neat,
into video settings,
neat.
yeah. There's also distortion effects, which is for nausea and portal effects, where your screen goes all wobbly.
Oh yeah, that's good. That seems like good just in terms of like accessibility kind of stuff, because I imagine there's some people that like might
I,
really
uh,
make
I
them motion sick or something.
yeah, I think I actually got straight up headaches from playing a map with the motion blurriness
I
of
feel like in one
nausea.
of the final areas of this map, near the end, like there's something with nausea, but it's only for a few seconds.
Yeah, I tried to do that just to give that small effect, but
Right. Oh yeah, when you break the three things in the final thing. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just like everything is
You need
warping
some kind of
around,
epic grand effect that, yeah.
just like reality is bending or something.
But I'm glad that Minecraft at least has settings to control those things now. I wasn't aware of them, but that's good. And so people who don't like that stuff can just choose to flip their own settings on it.
Exactly. Let me quickly just dump a lot of my inventory. Um, and then here's me trying to fix
Right,
Mojang's sounds.
right. And yeah, this was good. Like a lot of people did this or whatever, and it did make it uh, good at the beginning, so that the records would sound more appropriate when they got played.
Yeah, I I really like the idea of like incorporating custom music into maps now, just because it adds just a
It
whole nother layer.
it definitely, I have come to appreciate more and more over time how much music kind of like overlays in games are good. I remember back when I was doing Minecraft stuff and command blocks, like I was trying to see if I could use command blocks to code up kind of like music transitions between areas where it could kind of like the way Terraria, like you fade in music as you change biomes kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like that kind of stuff could be good, but the way that the at least command kind of like sound engine works or whatever, like in Minecraft, has never been particularly amenable to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is actually difficult. I've been actually exploring it because I have the idea of using like area bound music,
Right?
but like how do you? But the only way to stop music in this game is to use the stop sound command.
Right.
Instantly just cuts
Yep.
off the music.
Yep. And so yeah, I
So
was trying to like code it and like have like different tracks at different volumes and keep track of how much time has passed and like switch after stopping the sound to like playing a different one that's like at a lower volume, and yeah, it's too much of
yes,
a
so
headache. If only there was like a fade in and fade out that you could
yeah,
code up
I
as
would
well. You
love
could do
fade
so much
in,
better stuff.
fade out, and what I really would like to, I've messed around with this in Unity.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would like where you could have multiple tracks that are kind of the same song. So you have
Yes.
like a drum
Yes.
part, you have a
Yes.
violin part,
Yes.
you have
Yes.
basically drum is for when an enemy appears really close. You could basically bring that in and you can bring it out. And you could actually do like responsive sound design that actually responds to the environment by
Yes.
programming it.
Any games that do that, like sometimes I don't realize that they're doing that, and then I look back and realize that they're
It
doing it, and it's
is
so good. Hollow Knight
it is
does it.
amazing.
Spelunky does it, like when you go into the backsides or when you go underwater, like the sound goes down, but it's still playing the same tracks. And Spelunky, like when you get into the boss section or whatever, like all of a sudden it
Yes.
just transitions to the drums, but otherwise keeps the same music going. Like whenever you do that, it's so good. And
Mhm.
it doesn't take that much basic infrastructure, like you were saying, in terms of fade and fade out and transition from track one to track two that are playing kind of parallel. Um, it would do so much. Yeah.
hmm I think at least to actually like instead of just cutting off a track, what you could do is you can have a different sound that kind of marks the end. So basically, you could overlay it with another sound
Mm-hmm.
effect to kind of stop it, to just hide the sudden cutoff, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. Because if you play a loud sound, or relatively loud sound,
Right.
over the cutoff, then the cutoff might not be that obvious. Then you
Anytime you
just
area transition, you
do it.
accidentally look at an Enderman. Ah! Yeah. So yeah, I like having the music and the custom music, and it was also fun, like just from like a streaming and me playing through the map kind of point of view. Like when I wanted to take a break, like I could put on a random music track while I was going to take a short bathroom break or something, and so like gives the people who are watching like something to listen to in the meantime. And some people were actually like they'd place a record just get the map and they wanted to play some more, and so they just leave the music going and go out and play, and they could have some cool music to listen to as they were traveling back out. And
Hmm.
so yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, once again, if we had infrastructure to make it really good stuff, that would be so much better.
Yeah, I basically use Crinkle's music a lot when actually mapping because it's just really relaxing, kind of like the Minecraft music.
Hmm.
And he has like, I think he actually released an album last month, and he has like 24 of them. So that's like 200 tracks that you could
Right.
go through.
I wanted to carry one of these around in my inventory so that I would have it uh,
So
later if I
you,
want to
okay, well,
use some of the music.
oh yeah, yeah. You would actually, I think you would have to. So basically, when you put a record down, it basically gives you a tag, and if you press one of these buttons, it checks for if you have the tag of that record, and if you do, then play it. So
I
you
see.
actually need the record before you actually can play the
Right.
song book.
Right. Which did you think about like not doing that in terms of like design decisions and trade-offs for people who just wanted to listen to the music regardless of how much playthrough of the map they'd done? Like,
Yeah, and on one end, I was like, I kind of like the idea of just the player getting to hear them for the first time when they actually put them in.
mm-hmm.
So it kind of reminded me of when you played Vinyl Fantasy, you would always listen to the song as well.
Uh-huh.
And so I kind of wanted that effect. And even if people really wanted to listen to the song, they could just Google it
That's true.
because they know the author, they know the song name now. So
Yeah.
that's one way around.
And after you found one of them, possibly, I can imagine. Well, I'm not sure how the play sound command like actually works with custom music disc, but I wonder if you can infer the command just to like type in the chat or something. But maybe that's unreasonable to expect people to be able to do. Um,
Yeah. I had these in Horrify as well. I had 12 of them. But then there I just replaced the sound files. These are all record 11, and then it does it with a play sound file. And the other one I just replaced them
I see.
like
Okay.
directly. And with that one, people said to me like, "Yeah, you really should make it so I can just walk around without a jukebox and a record." So I basically just have it's kind of like an iPod which you have here,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
clear the first music players.
Yep.
And you can just stop and play new tracks.
So yeah, I like that a lot. Just having that little book that it's another set of spells. But this time they're music spells.
Music spell.
So yeah, echoing something that's said in my chat, there are 18 discs,
Oh yeah.
18 main objectives in this particular map. Is there a particular reason for that, or was it just kind of that's the number of areas you made, or what's the story?
So at first I was thinking of having 16 objective areas. And then when I finished, I still had Quarry, so that's the nether area.
Uh huh.
And the Lonely Dark didn't have a record either. And I really felt like the Lonely Dark really needs for pacing, for the sake of pacing.
Oh yeah,
It really
definitely.
needs a record because it's so long.
Yep.
It's just gonna feel like a transition zone. People are gonna hate me for it.
Yep.
So put a record there. And then I thought, well, what am I doing here? I'm not here to just serve the amount of objectives. The amount of objectives should serve the map.
Yep.
So that's when I was okay. I kind of want the net area in there because it was an elaborate joke that I want. So I went ahead and put Quarry in as well, which is this one.
I
So
see.
that's the brown one, which is the joke one
Yep.
as well. Um, so yeah, that's basically why there are 18. Technically 19 because you have the
Right. There's
ending.
the secret one at the end if you get all the emeralds and go in the back, right?
Mm-hmm. We can, I guess, keep the emeralds for last, or how do we want to do the emeralds actually?
Um, I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking in terms of like seeing the back area. Like, yeah, let's save it for the
Yeah,
end.
showing the back area. Actually, it's probably better if you do that last, just for
Yeah.
people who haven't like completely completed the map.
Right. Yeah. Try to kind of stick somewhat to an order so you don't get. That was one of the things also that I found in terms of trying to watch other people. Like, because it's an open world map, like if you're trying to play through the map as someone who's recording it and so going at kind of a slow pace in terms of like day to day and week to week and also trying to watch other players, it could be very difficult
It's
because
difficult, yeah.
yeah, you don't know which way they're going to go versus which way you're going to go. And so I was constantly kind of like stopping. And I guess that was one of the reasons, yeah, that I was also trying to figure out what's the quote unquote intended order because I was trying to imagine what other people were going to do so that I'd be able to watch other people's playthroughs as soon as possible because I was excited after I completed an area to see other people do it as well.
Oh yeah, like
Um, but yeah, you just have to be
around
disciplined. And if someone starts going a different way, pause the video. Come back again
around
another time.
around every corner. There's a spoiler, Brian.
That's
Around
right.
every.
So, yeah, show me a corner with a spoiler.
Mm, this one.
I wonder if I would have found this on my own. Unfortunately, I watched No Leaf Clover come to the monument. And of course, he looks around. I looked at the sky and I was
It's-
like, oh, what an awesome sky. And I enjoyed looking at the sky. I felt like he like walked into this place and like he was like, "Oh, it's the monument." Well, there's definitely a secret up there. Like it took him like 1 second to see it.
just instant. This is amazing.
Ah,
Oh yeah, the actual design of the monument.
yeah. Talk about it.
Um, so there's this central record in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and basically all these small records kind of like connect to it, except for the one going into the door.
Right.
So like there's no
Oh, I
cement.
didn't even notice that the emerald chest had the line of thing going to the door. Like I even dug behind the door before getting there, like wondering if there was going to be something back there. And if I'd realized that in terms of like the energy, like these, as you put in a record, it like turns on the lights and is like powering this thing up. It totally would have occurred to
Yeah,
me that this was like a door that it was going to power up with all the emeralds. But I simply did not notice that because I'm
yeah.
not
So,
observant.
so the lore of the map, at least like the unspoken lore, is that the ancient people who basically built all these old ruins throughout the whole map had like ancient music in which they had like magic kind of import in it.
Okay.
And they basically used this device to kind of ascend themselves, and that's why they're not here anymore, and why everything is kind of ruins. That's also why the last record is also Ascension.
I see. Okay.
And the actual monument is also very big because I really wanted to try out a bigger like monument that felt more monumental, especially after War told me that he would like to see like a more monumental monument that isn't just a small little slab with just a whole row of rainbow colored wool, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Just something bigger and grander.
Right.
But then the issues come with like how do you actually like show the whole thing in like a victory screenshot. So I had this like lookout thing.
Yes. So this part you've definitely improved somewhat. I remember, yeah, I guess in Myriad Caves, like there was like literally nowhere you could stand and like see all the wolves because they were like all centered around the player or something in a tiny area. So I remember that being a criticism. So this is definitely improved. That you can take a screenshot from here. However, that said,
Ever.
I still don't like it. um, you get some records, and it does turn on these very dim redstone lamps in order to be able to see what records are there. But like, it doesn't pop at all. And so like, you stand up here, and I literally, I was critical of it. I said I couldn't tell how many records I have, and so I don't know if you saw in my stream. Like, I set up command blocks, and I stuck command blocks under there that gave particles and put particles above the music discs that I already had,
Mm-hmm.
so that it kind of made like little fireworky kind of things like right above them and popped. And I literally didn't put them under all the ones that I had because I failed to notice that there was another one that I gotten. So like I had 11 at that point or something, and I put in 10 of them and just failed to notice that I didn't get one because it doesn't light up enough for me to even notice that it was there. And so there was basically no way for me to see my progress. So it makes a nice screenshot where I can't tell what's happening. Is basically my criticism.
Hmm.
I saw that Preox and Travel Dog inside the record chest thing or whatever, like there's typically two end rods, and so they were sticking end rods kind of like on the corners of each music disc that they got or whatever, and that made it kind of pop a little bit more in terms of which ones that they had to light up, which I thought was kind of a cool idea, something simple
Oh
to do
yeah.
in game, but just something.
Maybe like a particle beam, something to actually, because I was when I made the lights, I was mainly thinking of, yeah, you can see that this one is on, but I didn't think like, oh, if you stand back, then can you see how many are on at a very small glance without like counting them
Right,
exactly? Especially because some are shorter and some are longer.
right. Yeah, I mean,
Like
yeah, when I'm
if
standing
you
here from the
only had
screenshot, like there's only like two glowstone lips and like the third one on the bottom that I can actually see if it was on.
yeah, and if you had the whole, if you only had the top row, I guess it would have been serviceable because it's already less cluttered as well.
Right, right.
But yeah, this is a different case.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I
might,
like the layout. I mean, in terms of, yeah, like the top row and the bottom row or whatever, like it works for, like fitting it in the screenshot and looking nice. But yeah, it just didn't work for highlighting the ones that you did and versus didn't have.
yeah, at first I was thinking of actually putting in like a whole circle, but that's just impossible to actually look at,
Right.
like for the whole screenshot. So I thought do
Yeah.
a half circle and do a double one.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely like the layout. I just didn't like the fact that the ones that you had versus the ones you didn't have, like you couldn't distinguish.
Yeah, I might do a little particle beam actually, now that I think about it. So if I do, um,
I guess I'll continue to stand here.
particle.
Anyway, I just experimented with 5 minutes for a command block and came up with something that I didn't love, but I at least liked. But yeah, I imagine
Yeah,
you've experimented with a number of different things and could come up with something fun that looks good that you'd like.
I could do something like speed zero, count two, force, I guess. Like something like this, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Maybe make it even a little bit bigger, just so they all pop out more.
Yeah, I did something similar to that, but I had just done it kind of like in kind of like a spherical ball, kind of like hovering above it as opposed to a line coming up out
Yeah,
of it. But yeah, just something that makes it easy to then go and count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got these ones. I still need to get these ones. Blah 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 blah. And you could
yeah.
possibly color code them somehow with the colors of the music disc. Maybe I'm not sure if that would look good or if that would just be distracting. But
I have no idea how I would do that even. Maybe
yeah.
with, cause I
Oh, right,
think
because different particles. Yeah, only there's only like one or two particles that you can actually color, right? But yeah,
yeah,
even just white, yeah, something like that. Like now, when I'm standing here, it's like completely obvious which ones are there versus which ones aren't. Although, yeah, there's a little bit of kind of like overlap. Like when I'm standing here, these two are perfectly in
mhm.
a line. But yeah, in terms of
I
there's
could
there's
maybe
things you could
use
do.
the. I think I could use the potion particle effects, like these ones. Oh, the ones that fly off
Oh
these.
yeah,
I could
yeah,
probably. Because I think you can color those and then make them similar to the record color.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, something just to make it pop was my main thing. And so yeah, in my the way I cut my YouTube videos, some of it was just the time. Like I'd finish an area and you'd have to walk back and come back to the monument, and it's kind of boring. And then yeah, I don't just stand around and listen to the music.
That is actually something I do dislike about this monument, is that it takes a little bit too long to actually walk
That's
into
I was going to
it.
comment when you're talking about something that's grander. I did appreciate the fact that this was grand, but it's not um I don't know, Ragecraft and some of the other ones that have like super duper grand base that takes like 4 minutes to walk through the base to get to the monument. Like this
Yeah,
one, you run through here, like it does take probably 40 seconds or something from the transport hub, but that's reasonable. I didn't feel like I was being brought down when I wanted to come back here. I did dislike the fact that I walked down into the bottom, but then if I wanted to be looking at it, I had to be walk all the way around to kind of like stand up on top.
Oh yeah, I could have also added a
So yeah, if there was also like
filter.
another staircase like when you're first coming in that you could choose to go up or down so that you could be kind of like looking at it, that could be good. Um,
Yeah,
or
or
I'm trying to think like I guess yeah, you can still like take fall damage. Like I'd often like take fall damage or damage in here just because at that point like I knew in the ritual grounds I was going to be able to heal up, and so I almost wonder if you just like walk out here and like there doesn't even have to be a way to down and you could just fall down. But people will find that unintuitive, so that doesn't really work.
hmm
Um, but yeah, um, yeah, I would have appreciated yeah if it was more motivating me to actually stand up here and take a look at it. And yeah, then also wanted to have it be easier to kind of get up to the point where I would be standing up and looking at it. But in any case, yeah, things are improving coming along. I love the sky in here. You've
yeah,
done
it's
this kind of, or variations on this trick. The Aurora, I guess, in
it's
Corona
the
Trials,
yeah the nebula in the redacted trials.
and the
I'm
different,
not sure what I need to do with that name as well
yeah.
because
I
it's completely ruined, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. My name doesn't, or my brain doesn't like translate names into meanings very often, and so I hadn't even thought about it
True, but
until you
for like
pointed it out.
YouTube searchability and because if
I
you're Corona
see.
trials, instantly is like this
Yeah.
is a
Okay.
video about redacted,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and then it
Um.
also immediately I think demonetizes as well. I
Yeah,
believe
that's what I just
so. That's a
realized.
big
Yeah, that's
issue
that. Just
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Um. Yeah. I also love the end rods, the different heights, so you get the parallax effect of the stars kind of moving as you're just kind of walking through the
Yes.
monument. Like it's a simple thing, but yeah, it looks so pretty. So I really love the sky in here.
Oh, thank you. I think was also messing around with these particles, actually, these same particles in the air,
Mm-hmm.
but that became super chaotic as well.
Right.
So I opted out for just
And yeah, I also
level.
don't know the way that I'd set it up is that the particles would only render like when I was actually standing up here. Like I don't know, at some point in the past, like particles like were a lag kind of thing or whatever, and so I didn't want to have them like running all the time. I don't know if you actually
Yeah,
need to do
I
that. I don't
actually
know.
like that idea as well,
Yeah, but
where
it's
they
like
would be just bound to this little place here.
right, so that if you're standing up here, then you can see it, but otherwise maybe you don't because it might especially well, I don't know when you're going down to like place a record. That was another thing. It's probably too minor of a nit to even point out. I didn't have it in my notes, but I was just thinking about it. But every time I came to the monument, it's like, oh, I have the record Eon. Where does it go? Let me
Where,
walk
yeah,
over here. No, is it? No, it's not. Did I
uh,
remember seeing it up there? Yeah.
yeah, there's no like, there's kind of an order because it starts from
Yeah,
top left.
eventually kind of like got the sense of okay, I'm doing the left half first or whatever, and obviously as there were fewer of them left, like there were fewer places for it to go. But that's also an advantage of if these particle effects were turned off when I was down here, then I'd have to kind of like remember what I already had when I was trying to find a new one to place. So I don't know if it's good to have the particles on like maybe everywhere where you're standing in the room rather than just standing on the top. I'm just kind of spitballing right now. I don't know.
Yeah, there's ideas to really think about like what is the trade-offs.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Mm,
someone in the chat is saying it could be cool if I mean it's a bit of extra work in terms of the command blocks and people wouldn't necessarily know it, but if you were holding uh, a music disc in your hand, like maybe it could somehow light up
oh, that's a
somehow.
really good one. I actually really like that one.
I see.
Like it already shows kind of like a different beacon or something, or maybe
Right.
just a massive arrow in the sky saying, "Hey, you should get over here." Like one of those Tony Hawk Pro Skater, like massive red arrows flashing in your screen.
Definitely think about having it in their hand versus not having it in their hand and just having their inventory. And also think about speedrunners who are going to be, or people who come in with multiple discs at once, in
Oh
terms of
yeah.
like things to like test to make sure that it's still reasonable. But that could be a fun way to do something there.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way. That's a good idea actually to think about as well. Mm,
Um, yeah, and Yeah, I like the fact that you had the chests kind of on both sides, and so that gave people an encouragement to kind of come explore the top area to make sure that they would see that there was the good vantage point kind of place along the way that they could view the monument from. And then, yeah, just giving people the extra music. So if they wanted to hear the Minecraft music, they had an easy way to do it. Um,
Yeah, and this was also just to kind of show the player, hey, look, the old ones are still here. Look at this magic I just did.
Ooh,
Ooh.
render is so magical.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and so I appreciated that. Like I brought this back into my little base and occasionally played some of these musics when I was just taking a
Yeah.
break and wanted to leave some music for some people.
I think you can make it so if you actually put the custom record in a jukebox,
Hmm.
it will actually play the correct disc as well.
I
Instead
see.
of because now if you do it, it will play 11 because all of these are
Right,
basically just textured 11s.
right.
I
Yeah,
could basically, I think I now know how to actually change that as well.
I see. But yeah, the way that it worked with the item frame or whatever, that's another thing. I saw one person I think that the note block might be a jukebox and they should click on the block rather than the item frame, but they immediately figured out that you just put the thing in the item frame and then it starts playing.
Mhm.
So that was perfectly intuitive. Um, so yeah, that's also a good example of you're doing something that's not really an in-game mechanic, but it was completely obvious to everyone. So that's good design.
Mhm.
Um, did you like there was the general design principle of trying to make it so that you could find areas from multiple locations? Did you have in mind at any point that you wanted to have the monument have one of the secret entrances, or did it just kind of the layout kind
Yes.
of connect here? Or okay,
This one, I knew it was really close, so I thought, well, I could make a shortcut back, and I was like, I kind of like the idea of having it both ways. So I turned it into a secret,
mm-hmm.
and that's why if you go over here, the way you would normally get into the way you would normally, or from the other way you would find it,
Right,
is actually hidden as well, because that's right underneath here,
yep,
and that you wouldn't know that from here.
yep.
So you couldn't like skip to
Skipped to
intersection two.
intersection two just as a result of finding the alignment. Right. Yep,
Exactly.
that's good. And I think it was like 4 or 5 blocks. Oh no, it was only a couple blocks.
Or just two.
Yeah, okay. But enough that yeah, there was I guess a chance if a creeper blew up over here that someone might find it. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's fine.
but that was slim enough that I
Yeah,
was gonna take it.
yep. But yeah, that was really cool. And I can't think of another map I've seen where there's like a secret shortcut right directly from the monument to a place. So that's pretty cool.
Mm, yeah, actually, yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah, the idea was that you could kind of take the Mario warp pipes around, just skip around a little bit in the map.
Yeah, too noisy.
Too noisy. Oh yeah.
I was just putting down a bunch of end rods. End rods look cool.
I was thinking maybe like a beacon could work as well. But how do
Yeah, it
you
might be too
how do you put
much.
a how do you put a beacon in as well? Like you need skylight for it.
Right.
That's the most difficult part.
Yeah. You seem to have done that in a number of other places in the map, so I'm sure you'd come up with something.
True. Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Oh, there's a skeleton over here right now. So yeah, another thing is the monument. This area is a jungle, and there's a little bit that's a swamp over on the other side. So the monument is not completely safe.
Not
I had
completely.
mobs spawn inside here. Obviously.
Uh, yeah, the ceilings, the roofs
Oh
right
yeah,
here,
this one. Yeah, I
and
think
on
he
the other
changed it.
one, yeah, on the mausoleum as well. It used to be dark.
Yeah. So yeah, you
So
added the
you,
lights up here, so that's definitely an improvement because I saw multiple people have mob spawn on the roof.
and I think this guy spawned somewhere from the TNT explosion.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I had a zombie who spawned like right in the middle somewhere. I don't remember exactly.
hmm
Um, and I didn't mind. Um, the monument's pretty safe, but like not having it be a void biome right here, so you don't have monster spawns. And you get like the parrots who would spawn because it was a jungle biome. Um, and I ended up growing some bamboo because I fished in here to get the bamboo sprouts or whatever,
Oh yeah,
so that I could make the whatever they're called.
Yeah, scaffolding, which is
Scaffolding.
also added to the second traders now.
I
We
see.
skipped over that, yeah.
Hooray. So yeah.
Right. But yeah, I did that so that the area underneath actually.
Yes, because yeah, if we, I guess now is a good time, really quick, to go into spectator mode, and you realize
Well,
that the
when you just
Brightwater
hit the
dungeon
ground
is
and it
almost directly under
disappeared.
here. Sorry, go ahead.
You just when you hit the ground, you just instantly disappeared on my screen.
Well,
That's just me.
yeah,
When you
I'm
jumped off
magic.
the yeah, when you jumped off the mycelium block, just like yoink. But yeah, anyway,
Um,
as you were saying.
yeah, so I didn't mind the fact that there were monsters in here, in the monument. And it was kind of good. Like there were a few times where when I was trying out a spell and I wanted to experiment, like this was my experiment grounds. And so either there was once or twice, I even like killed parrots with my area effect cloud potion spell, for example. And the
Mm.
dragon shooty one or whatever that I got later.
Oh
I
yeah.
experimented with here in the ritual grounds, and when I needed actual mobs, I think it would have been like you had the zombie spawner at the top of the tower, like just because there was a people might want to have like training dummy kind of stuff or whatever. I would have liked it if there was a mob spawner that was either I don't know like a zombie spawner that's like right over here, just outside the door of the monument, or somewhere else that's really
Yeah,
nearby.
I could have maybe just added little side thing,
Or yeah,
just
even yeah, like a little like cave or room inside here or whatever, where
yeah, maybe with like a button that you could press and it would just summon a zombie, for example. So it's literally controllable.
right, or if you wanted to have lore, like I don't know, you could have like another NPC, and there could be like a little iron gate, kind of like boxed in kind of place with the spawner inside or something. I don't know, um,
Yeah.
but it would give people the opportunity if they wanted to do some kind of like testing of mechanics, kind of in this place.
Mm-hmm. Then we have basically Brightwater.
There's still a couple things in the monument that I wanted to talk
Oh,
about.
oh,
There was
hey,
this
shortcut.
another shortcut, exactly, that went back to the
Mhm.
start, which was really nice. I think also for anyone who didn't have a bed spawn, and was trying to quickly get back by the time they found the monument, if they bothered to come up here, they would discover that their normal respawn point would have been right over there, so it'd be very easy to run back.
Yes.
And so that
So another like just easy way back.
was this something that you had already designed kind of like from the outset, or was there any play testing that caused this one to come back in, or
This this is one of the first shortcuts I basically put down
okay.
because I knew people would. I always like if you always like if you die without a bed, how quickly can you get back?
Yep. Okay, I figured that it was probably something that you had designed from the outset because at this point, this was not your first rodeo. Um,
Not even close.
um, but yeah,
Many maps deep.
I like that. And then I thought there was one other thing I want to talk
Yeah,
about in the
there's
monument.
the Pillar of Secrets contains another secret.
Oh, right. I guess were these moss blocks here originally?
Yes, it used to
Okay,
be one, and it used to also be a little bit more indented. I tried
I
to make it
see.
really obvious
Okay,
now.
yeah, the two is much more obvious because yeah, once again, for whatever reason, people seem to explore or have a little less curiosity in the monument
There-
zone.
There's another one. There's another moss block that not many people actually found. So yeah, this one basically just leads up to the bygone mines again.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the bonus area too.
I'm just gonna spectator mode to get down quicker.
Yeah, because F the finds. And
And
then the second mossy cobbles right here.
oh
So
wow.
if you would dig these, you would be like, oh, more mossy cobble.
See,
Oh my,
I think I
it's too
either I
high.
dug through here. No, maybe I saw Preox dig through here.
Maybe war as well, because I pointed it literally out to war, and it was like,
Okay.
where is it? I
And yeah, this
pointed
is
it
just
out
if you
to.
swum to the very top of the waterfall. Was there any light in here, or if you swam to the top, like did you just like see that there was a hole leading into a
Yeah,
passage?
you
Or
would be able to see a hole, but this
okay,
apparently, when I was watching war stream, it was actually super hard to find.
right,
So even though it, as a map maker, it feels as easy as it could be.
right.
But yeah,
Um, but yeah, and then the moss stone. The fact that there isn't any other moss stone, That's good.
Shift
I don't think
Q.
I ever noticed that though in my
Yeah, I was hoping people would first see the other milestone. They would be like, "Is there more around?" And then would see the
I
second one.
see. Yeah. But yeah, for whatever reason. And I spent a bit of time looking in the ceiling because there was a time I was trying to estimate based on the number of intersections and number of remaining zones how many emeralds there were going to be versus how many records there were going to be, and was there an emerald hidden in the monument because it was a named area. And so I was hypothesizing that if I was
Right.
missing an emerald at the end, it was going to be at the monument. And so I spent a bit of time, I don't remember if it was on camera or off camera, like going into the ceiling and looking at some of the stalactites and making sure that I wasn't missing that. But despite the fact that I
Right.
did that, I didn't see the moss stone. So
I think this is actually my first monument without an emerald. Calamity Canyon kind of didn't have one. It was just outside of it, but this one like straight up doesn't have one.
yeah, yeah, I didn't think about it in
Yeah.
terms of context compared to the other maps. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
And oh yeah, the other thing, I think I told you this at some point in the past. I don't know if you've changed it. It might not be easy to change.
Oh, that
I
one
made,
block.
I guess it comes down to the fact that the soul makes a sound. Might have solved it or whatever. But I made my base in here, and discovered later that soul gets replenished over here, and that really annoyed me for like the next few episodes until I got used to it. But it'd be
Hmm.
like I always come back here. I do all my stuff. I had my all my chests over here, and I'd be about to go, and I'd be like, "Oh wait, I need soul."
Brian was just coming, just
Okay.
somebody was disappointed in me.
Uh, so yeah, I don't know exactly what's directly below and above to know if it's easy to
Yeah. Remember that one clay block?
that one clay block. Oh yeah, the one clay block in the floor. Right, there was one right here. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. This one.
Now it has a secret.
Now it has a secret.
You're welcome,
I
people who play the map in the future.
This one was so like I looked at this place so many times and I never saw it.
Hooray!
That's
I
why
actually saw
I was so
something that you didn't.
confused. Yeah, I was so confused when you mentioned it. I was like, what clay block? I mean, clay block in these walls? There's no clay blocks. So then I looked around like very carefully everywhere, and then I saw it.
This is the version that just released a few days ago, I think. Render's made a few different updates to the map over time. Someone's asking in the chat.
Yeah, I
Um, but yeah, that's a very nice chest too. So and
mhm.
yeah, it's appropriate for you get to the monument, you get a gift.
Get a gift.
Remind me, there was I think we talked about it before. There was just the one anvil, I guess, by the bottom of the castle. And other than that,
Mhm.
there was just iron in intersection one, and so you wouldn't be able to get any other anvils after that. Did they change the anvil mechanics? Do you get like an? Can you ensure that there's a certain number of times that you can use it before it disappears, or is it still pretty random?
It's still based on random, I
Okay,
believe. And they might have changed, but I'm pretty sure it didn't.
I see.
So yeah.
Um, yeah, it felt like someone could get unlucky. Like my anvil actually lasted me a really long time, but I just know from having used them in the past, they might have changed like the frequency that it takes damage and goes down though, so it might be
Yeah,
unlikely.
I think it. Yeah, it can literally break in free usage, I believe.
I see, but yeah, it'd be extremely low probability for that to happen.
Yeah, it's still the same actually.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. I think that might be all the things I have in my notes in terms of this area. Before we move
okay.
on, are we going to be going for a while? And do you want to take a little break?
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
All
I
right.
was just about to mention it as well.